Welcome to Habitual Maker. I am James. That's my name. Today, I'm going to be building this router table extension with free parts. This piece of plexiglass came from an old computer monitor. So if somebody's throwing one out, that's where I got it from. That saves you about 35, 40 bucks, depending on where you get it from. It is very thick and it has these little circles. There's a term for it, I don't know, but it makes things slick, so it's very, very smooth. This is some MDF that got for free. Work was throwing it out after throwing some old shelves away. So that, and then there's some just scrap pieces of I think it was 1x4s I had laying around, and that I salvaged from something I took apart. So basically everything except for the screws are used. I'm using table saw fence as the fence for this. Let's get into the build, and I hope you enjoy it. These are springing back about it's about a little over 16th, 3:30 seconds it's sprung. So this was kind of so, but I cut this exact so that way I can just kind of cram it in there. But yeah, it'll work. As my dad would say, that'll do it. Anybody else have a redneck father from Texas? Have all kinds of weird sayings. That's where we are right there. Probably doesn't need to be this precise, but okay, just a tad bit. But like I said, this was springing a little bit, but I still cut it slightly over just to be on the safe side. So now I'll clean this end up over here. Just a little like a kiss. So here's a little, I wouldn't call it a pro tip, we'll call it a hack tip. So bring it up right there, you touch the blade, pull it off. Just the tip. Just the tip. Well, not quite enough of the tip. Try that again. And that's it. So, and that is going to work out just peachy. Right at the bottom of the metal, right there. I drilled a hole a little bit oversized, so I got a little bit of leeway to play with to level it. And there we are. Now I will, there's holes, so I'm going to go underneath and draw from the underside. And there are my holes. A smart person would have done it on this side. No one ever accused me of being smart. All right. So Here is the bane of my existence: finding the center of a hole. It annoys me to no end. But since I'm going to be doing them oversized, that's okay. So we'll just eyeball it. That one's off. That one's off. And that one's off. Hey, at least they're all off the same direction. Now, I'm going to say the jump between 5/16 and 3/8 is just a little extreme. So, 21/64s. No. We'll do 11/32. These are not for wood, but that's what I'm going to use them for. Harbor Freight, don't be jealous. One walked on me pretty bad. Hopefully this. I really shouldn't have done this on a drill press, but as you see, there's a lot of stuff in the way. A couple things I do: I keep all screws and bolts. I got 2 cans. I need to get in there. But also, if you buy the little packages of different screws and bolts and nuts, you have come in little containers and stuff. They're very handy to have. That way, you don't have to stop a project to go get some screws. And have you seen the price of screws lately? Man, buy in bulk. Buy in bulk. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the boards affixed. Then I'll glue the two. And then I'll get the glue. And then I'll set the sheet on top where it's level here, and then I'll affix it down with some glues and screws, and then it's there. I don't really need to take it out. Anybody else have their tools magically disappear? Mine do. That's not even the right size. 3 sets of combination wrenches, and I have no 7/16 wrench. Anybody else have that problem? And I'm afraid to even buy new ones because. So this is a cool. I turn it this way and it tightens it. I can also turn it this way and it tightens it. You go. Your socket doesn't do that. So I don't know. I bought these from a tool vendor when I was a machinist like 20 years ago, and have not seen them for sale anywhere since then. They're Blackhawk, that's all I know. And if I lose them, I will be very, very sad. There's a patent on them. So maybe they still sell them. Definitely something to have. At least those haven't disappeared. Yeah. Drop everything. We'll do 19. I love to reuse wood because I'm cheap. Some people say I'm not a woodworker, but I have a woodworking source tape measure. That's got to mean something, right? Kind of think I might need to. There's 2 holes here, but they're very close together. I think I might need to drill at least 2 more. It'll probably be a good idea. But for right now, let's cut the next one. One without a knot. These don't have to be super precise because they're kind of going off into the great blue yonder. Well, they gotta be somewhat precise because I gotta have another board that goes ties on over there, but not super precise. And then we will need another one that is 27 inches ish. That's got a knot. That doesn't have a knot. And I say this in all my videos, although if you're watching this, it's probably the first one you've ever seen of mine. But I do this because I want people to understand that you don't have to have a lot of fancy tools. You don't have to have expensive everything to do woodworking. You don't have to have the best of everything. And you don't have to have, you don't have to buy Baltic birch everything and all that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd love to have it, but this is an old piece of furniture. Somebody gave me and I cut it down. Let's see what the screws were. I'm not even sure. I honestly don't know where I got it from, but it's old. So, unlike many YouTubers who say, I have this scrap piece of walnut, they would cost you $30 if you went to the store and bought it. Mine are scraps. Would I like a scrap piece of walnut that costs $35? Am I going to pay for that much? I have walnut. I have some hard maple. I'm going to drill some holes through the wood, and then that'll give me a witness mark on where to I'll have on the metal to go back and drill the holes. So now I have a center hole on the wood where I know the hole needs to be, and I also have a mark right there for the drill. These are wood screws. They will die if I try and put them through. They're also really crappy ones too. I don't know where my cutting oil is, so WD-40 it is. Whew, smoking. Literally. But I got the deburr tool here. Let's see if I can get it. Yeah, I was able to get it reasonably well. Okay, something I didn't think of. You guys probably did. How am I going to get this in there? And I can't go this way because So I can either use a smaller one and then recess the hole because it's ever so slightly. But I don't believe the next size smaller nut I have is good enough. I still had to go down to the hardware store. And look, it still doesn't work. Oh, I got it. It's coming from the side a little. Oh, there we go. So it did work. As they say, the sun shines on a dog's rear end every once in a while. Oh, well, that one went in because it was the wrong one. So, still probably going to have to countersink because they barely go on. Okay, I took a bigger drill, drilled it out. It wasn't big enough for the socket to go in. Obviously, um, I can try and use a Forstner bit, but those of you who use one, even on a drill press, it's still pretty hard because it wants to. Um, so I'm just going to have to make a new one of these. I mean, it is what it is. But I'm gonna get the drill press going, and I got a Forstner bit, and I'll do the countersinks first, and then drill the holes, and that should work. And then I'll be able to get the socket over the nut. Fingers crossed. It's starting to seem like maybe I should have just took this off, but if I remember right, last time I did that, it was a nightmare. But probably wasn't, and I'm just creating work for myself. Yeah, I have no idea how long I've not been recording. So, countersunk these, put the so the big enough where the socket will go in. Nice washers, good over here. Did that for this side. Don't need to. Didn't need to at all. Because I don't have anything, I could use the biggest bolt I wanted. I make mistakes. I don't think ahead. So what have we learned today? Plan out a little bit better. Don't cut your wood wrong by 10 inches when it says 27. Make sure it's 27. I even wrote it down too on the piece of wood. Maybe take the way that you think is going to be the harder way and just do that because it's probably going to be easy. Who knows? See, this is the beauty of this socket right here. When it's not enough tension to use it as a normal ratchet would, not working, this always works. So this needs to just go on here like that. So I'll just use a couple clamps and hold those up. I just had 2 clamps. I did. I promise. Right in front of me. Maybe I need to get my eyes fixed. Probably. There we go. Get me a countersink. Try this new fancy one that everybody's talking about. That's the greatest thing in the world or whatever. I don't know. I will set this on here. Do you see what I did? So I measured this because it went to the end of the rail here and just a little past this rail. But then for some reason I decided to go way out here. The easiest thing is just to cut these down. What happens when you have plans? So I'm trying to learn the Fusion 360 thing. So I have plans to go by because I'm always doing everything by the seat of my pants, and then this stuff happens, and then I have to do stuff over again. And that's something I can definitely attest to, is trying to save time by taking a shortcut or buying something cheap will not work. That that thing called karma or whatever, catch 22, whatever you call it, there's a term for it. It will bite you every time. So I marked it. Now I'll just set this right here. So that's the edge. That mark is the edge of the board. Now I'll do this. So now if I cut to here, and then I tack this to the end, that will ride on here. Might help if you have a blade up. Can't cut nothing if the blade's not high enough. For those of you who do not know about how high to set a blade, I've always been taught you want this, the actual cutting part edge, you want that to be just the bottom of the cutting edge, be right at the top of that. Supposedly, you make sure the chips are all gone out and everything. There's YouTube videos that prove all this stuff. Some people say different. It's always worked for me. I learned it in 7th grade wood shop. I like to lower my blade out of the way because even if the thing is unplugged, I still cut myself on it. True story. Really should have marked which side's which. Well, they're far enough apart, you can't miss. For once, me not measuring stuff worked. Okay, I got them bolted on. I did that off camera. I put some glue on there because I forget to push play. This is basically setting here mainly for weight. I'm going to do a couple of screws along the edge, and then that way it's all one piece. Okay, so what I'm doing right here is this is magnetic, obviously metal, so it keeps my mat here. It doesn't want to fall off or anything. As you can see, it is a little bit bigger. It wants to fall this way and that way. And also I don't have to hold it. And so then I can butt it up here. I can make sure I already know I want 2 inches from here. I want it closer this way than here. So I'm going to be lazy and just do this. That's close enough to an inner dimension. So this doesn't have to be a specific size. It just has to be a step in. And that can be whatever I choose it to be. And since this is about what I'm looking for, this is what it'll be. So I measured from this line to here. I had this marked because when I did my measurements from here to here is where I got the measurements. And off camera, thought I was recording, but I wasn't. I went to go ahead and check, and I realized I'd actually measured from this line and not this line out there. But good thing I checked, because you can just easily lay it down, and you can see that where it's going to land, and right there. See this? It's on everything. I already vacuumed up. So that's why you need to wear a respirator and hearing protection, because routers are nasty. All right, I've got the edges both where they were supposed to be using a guide. I'm going to use my fence for the guide here and here. Not sure why I didn't do that here and here. Would have made my life a lot easier, but not a smart guy. See all this? This is after I've dusted myself off. It is everywhere. It's even in there. Um, they do make um, dust extraction for routers. They're usually for specific ones, not a cheap Ryobi like mine. So I don't have one. But I do need to get something, especially if you're using a router on MDF, because it's just powder. You do not want to breathe this stuff. One, you'll be coughing and sneezing it up for days. Two, it probably causes cancer or some disease, I'm sure. Um, it's not healthy at all. But short term, you won't like it. It even gets in like my eyes, and I'm wearing, you know, so I probably should wear goggles next time. You know, the ones that seal around. That'd probably be better. Okay, no editing. Let's see if it fits. It probably won't because of these little corners here, but let's see if the rest of it works. Oh, so close. I was a little worried about this one over here. I'm thinking I wasn't getting quiet enough. And I was right. I left the line, and I should have took the line. That's one thing. MDF. It's easy to cut with the chisel. Even cheap Harbor Freight chisels. Although it's been sharpened, they don't come like this. To raise or lower it, crack it open, and then just use the function of the actual router, and then close it back up to fine tuning, fairly small increments, and then do it. So works out pretty good. And let's give it a whirl.